Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I'm going to talk about my June TBR. So I'm really excited because June is the first month of Summer Book Bingo. I did just recently post a video where I talk about Summer Book Bingo, what it is, there's a giveaway associated with it, and I go over the prompts and everything, so I'll link that video so that way you can watch it if you haven't yet, because you might want to participate. And a lot of you already are, and I'm really excited because it's more fun when more of you participate and I can just see what you're reading and all that kind of stuff. It's just so fun. But like I said, there is a giveaway, a $25 gift card to the online bookseller of your choice involved. So that sweetens the pot just a little bit, I think. So my plan was to pick a row and that be like how I base my TBR for this month. But I have a certain amount of like buddy reads and other things that I'm participating in that is going to make that just a little bit difficult for me, I think. So I think I'm just going to check off books how I can, if that makes sense, and not necessarily pick my TBR based on a row, because I can almost make like this bottom row, but not quite. And then I realized, you know what, I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm just going to read what I'm planning to read and check off what I can. So we'll go ahead and start with buddy reads. I guess I have one like official buddy read this month, and then the other three are more like read-alongs. So my official buddy read this month is The Once and Future King by T.H. White. I am reading this with the lovely Sandy from Miss Reads a Lot. We actually read Walk in the Woods together earlier this year, and she is just so fun to buddy read with. She always has lots of great thoughts. So I'm looking forward to reading this with her. This is like the story of King Arthur, and it's actually 4 books in one. It's kind of thick. My edition, I think, is kind of close to 700 pages. So it's kind of a beast, but it has 4 books within it. And the first one is The Sword and the Stone, which I believe was the source material for the Disney movie. I think, but I don't think it's quite as lighthearted as the Disney movie. I'm not really sure though. But I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I haven't read very much King Arthur, so I'm not exactly fluent in Arthurian lore. So I think this will be a good introduction though. I've heard good things about this one. Then I have a couple of read-alongs, 2 of which I don't have the books for yet. So the first one is Gentle and Lowly. I think the author is Dane Ortland. I'll have a picture up here so you can see it. This is a Christian nonfiction that I'm reading along with Krista from Books and Jams. She's been hosting, I think, like 3 times a year read-alongs of Christian nonfiction. So last year we read Mere Christianity and the Pursuit of God. And then this year, so far, we have read Celebration of Discipline by Richard Foster. And then this is what we're reading in June. And I think it's a shorter book, but I haven't gotten it yet. I'm waiting for my copy to arrive. So hopefully, I think it's supposed to be here by the time this video comes out. So I should be able to start it and get caught up in time, but I will link the read-along information down below Krista's announcement video. She has it broken up into what we're reading per week, and then we will have live shows every Sunday to discuss the section that we read. So it'd be fun to have you join us if you're not already aware of this read-along. I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard great things about this book, but I tend to read more like Christian nonfiction classics than I do modern books, and this one was published in 2020. So I'm looking forward to it. And then the other read-along I am actually a co-host of is a collection of Dostoevsky's short stories called A Bad Business. And this is a new translation, and it's really cool because when we read Dr. Zhivago, we were talking on the live show, and this collection of short stories was actually co-translated by Pasternak's grandson, I think, which is really cool. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. I have a collection of Dostoevsky's short stories, but only one of the stories overlaps between that collection and this collection. So I went ahead and bought it, and I'm waiting for it to arrive. By the time this video comes out, there may be an announcement video already, but if there isn't, we'd still love to have you join in. It's starting on June 1st, I think. And we're going to be reading kind of a short story a week kind of a deal, but the first short story, A Bad Business, is the lengthiest one, so we're actually going to split that up into 2 weeks, and then the last 2 we're going to read in 1 week because they're really short. But essentially it's like a short story a week, and we will be having discussions on the literary Discord, and we'll be doing like live reading sprints on there, at least one, and then I think we're going to do a live show to wrap up our read along of this. So if you enjoy Russian literature, we'd love to have you join us. If you've been interested in looking into Russian literature and you're kind of intimidated, short stories are a great place to start. So we would love to have you join us. And then the last read along that I am participating in is Longer Than June, which actually, so is the Dostoevsky one, because that will carry into mid-July. So it's going to be about 6 weeks on that one. This one is all of June and all of July, because this book is a chunker, and that's The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This is like one of my favorite books, but I haven't read it in a really long time. And as it turns out, the edition that I owned was actually an abridged version, which was really disappointing. So I'm not sure if the first time I read it, maybe it was an unabridged version, but the version that I read multiple times that I owned was abridged. So that's really disappointing. But it's been a good like 10 years since I've read this, so I'm really looking forward to diving back into this story. I haven't called it my favorite in a while because I'm like, can you call something your favorite when it's been so long since you've read it? But I really love this book, so I'm looking forward to it. It is long. I think it's like 1,200 pages or something like that. But if I remember correctly, it doesn't feel very long, unlike Les Mis, which we read last summer. This is the same group of people hosting this, which is awesome. They're so much fun. So it's Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf, Victoria from The Musical Bookworm, Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and this year they've added Janelle from Too Fond of Books, and she's amazing. So we have a lot of great hosts of this read-along, and I think discussions will be in Victoria's Discord, but also they're having live shows, I think, every other Saturday. So I'm really looking forward to reading this again. This is on my classics TBR for the year. So it's a big one that I'm gonna check off, but I'm really looking forward to reading this. So those are all the read-alongs and buddy reads, but I have a few other things that I'm going to read. But those still can count on the summer book bingo. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do Count of Monte Cristo for my over 500 pages one. I can check off the buddy read for my buddy read with Sandy. I can check off a short story for the Dostoevsky book. And then I can check off the nonfiction space for Gentle and Lowly. So I have also been participating in the Buzzwordathon hosted by Books and Lala, and then also the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge hosted by Chantel Reads All Day. And I have been using those to kind of read books for my Read or Rid project, but I'm not doing that this month because I couldn't find any books on those that fit. So the prompt for the Buzzwordathon was that it needs to have the word all in the title. So I'm really excited to be reading The Lord God Made Them All by James Herriot. This is book 4 in his series. I've read the first 3, the first one being All Creatures Great and Small, and they are just like my ultimate comfort read. Like, I love them so much. And so there actually is a comfort read space on Summer Book Bingo, so this will definitely count for that, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's kind of easy to read sporadically throughout the month because the chapters tend to be a bit episodic in nature. There are some that build on like an overall story, sometimes with his family and his wife and all that kind of stuff, but overall they're like little scenes more than this grand overarching story. Then the prompt for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge is to read a book with books on the cover, and so I decided that I am going to read The Book of Lost Friends by Lisa Wingate. This is a historical fiction. It's dual timeline, which is not always my favorite, but I have read books where it does work for me. So I definitely want to give this a try. My older sister bought this for me for my birthday last year because she read it last summer and just said it was amazing. So one of the timelines takes place during the Reconstruction era after the Civil War. This is Louisiana 1875, and then the current day, it's not exactly current day, it's Louisiana 1987. So I don't know, I'm looking forward to it. I love the cover, I think it's beautiful. My sister and I often enjoy the same kind of books, so This one, she said, I believe made her cry. So, and she doesn't cry at books as easily as I do. So it will probably make me cry as well. So that book could work for a variety of different spaces. It could work for water on the cover. It could work for a new to you author or historical. If I do water on the cover, I can almost make this one. So we'll see. I may kind of like finagle and see. Maybe I will end up with a bingo this month after all. Then I have a couple of other books, and these are just kind of like thrown in there. A couple of them I am in progress reading at the end of May and not very far into them. So I know that I won't finish them. And I'm not very far in either of them. So I feel like I can confidently count them for the summer book bingo. Because as you can see, I'm literally at the beginning of both of them. One of them is Isaac's Storm. This is the story of the hurricane that hit Galveston in 1900. This is on a couple of different lists. So this is on my nonfiction TBR for the year, and it also won the BookTube spin. So definitely want to get to this one. I ended up just not getting very far into it. Just kind of like put it down and then went on vacation. So I think I'm like 28 pages in. So I'm not very far at all. So I feel like I could easily count this. Could count for a historical space, could count for water on the cover, probably something else too. But yeah, so I really want to read this one this month. And then I also am in the midst of The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I think I'm about 70 pages into this one, and I've gotten a lot of mixed things about it. And so the jury's kind of still out for me. I don't know exactly how I feel about it yet. There's a lot of jumping back and forth in time, which can make it a little hard to follow the story just a little bit, but I'm not enjoying it, if that makes sense. I like aspects of it. I really like the heist aspect. I'm enjoying the little snippets of the fantasy world that we're getting, and so I'm going to continue with it. I'm not planning to DNF it yet, but this is probably lower on my priority list for the month. And this could work for quite a few prompts as well. It could work for a new to you author, a book in a series, and it kind of counts as like summer vibes in my opinion, because I feel like fantasy is very summer vibes to me. And even the cover feels a little bit summery. And the last book that is on this TBR is one that I was planning to buddy read with Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and the timing of that is just not really working out, but I think I am going to go ahead and read it. And that's These Violent Lights by Chloe Gong. So this is kind of a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in Shanghai during the 1920s. And I think there's like some gang activity going on there. I think there's also some sort of like virus thing happening. I think it's kind of a little bit fantastical as well. And so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. I've heard a lot of good things about it. YA can be kind of hit or miss for me, so I don't know if I'm gonna love it or not, but I am gonna give it a try. And if I do, I'm definitely going to count this for flowers on the cover, because I think it has such a lovely cover that just like sucks you in and makes you want to read it. So these are the books that I am planning to read in June. It's kind of a lot. And there's a lot of like buddy reads, more than I normally schedule, but only one of them is really kind of a lengthy book that I feel like I'm gonna have to like make sure I keep up on, and that's The Once and Future King, because Gentle and Lowly is pretty short, and then the other two are spread out over multiple months, so that just makes it feel more doable and less intimidating. And I may try to throw some reader read project books on here as well, because I don't have any. Actually, The Lies of Locke Lamora is on my reader read project, but other than that, I don't have any books from that on this month's list, so we'll see. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. If there's any fun readathons that you're jumping into, if you're reading any of these books and any other readathons that I'm participating in, basically what your reading plans are for June in general. I would love to hear that. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.